Hey everyone, I'm Terry G. This is an alcohol-free life channel where we learn to live sober one day at a time. If you can take a second, please subscribe. Take another second and hit that like button. Are you having problems with your emotions? Are you sober and you're saying, wow, what's happening to me? Well, if your emotions are up and down or you feel like they're controlling your life, you're not alone. A lot of us in early recovery were just like you. And you know, I was just like you, and I worked my butt off to help me become emotionally stable. Because if your emotions are controlling your sobriety or controlling your life or controlling your response to life, good luck. Because if they are, you're gonna have a really crummy life, and you're gonna have really crummy sobriety. You really are, because we can't let our emotions control our lives. And I did that. My emotions controlled me. They really did. I was reacting to things that just a no would have done, or a simple conversation. I would react over the top, or get mad, or feel hurt, or feel sad and just walk out, or feel threatened and just walk out of relationships or walk off my job because the way I felt. You know, we go into recovery and we're always taught to deal with our feelings and say that our feelings are our best compass, like they're our truth. And they are our truth. I'm not telling you that your feelings are no good. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that how you respond with them is probably not that great. You know, killing an ant with a sledgehammer, that is not the way we do things, right? You know, a little family feud and reacting like a crazy person, or something's cutting the grass like I used to, you know, do. They would annoy me, so I just lose my shit on them. Like I'd freak out on them. You know, they look at me like, what is wrong with that guy? All we're doing is cutting the grass, and it's almost like we're, you know, stealing his children. It was just crazy. And the reason for that, because I couldn't control my emotions. I couldn't. And I would go to 12-step programs all the time, day after day, month after month, year after year, trying to figure out my emotions and thinking that a 12-step program would help me with my emotions. Well, I'm not putting 12-step programs down. It helped me stay sober all the time. Until this day, they've helped me stay sober. But when it came to my emotions, I needed outside help. I needed to understand what was going on. And most people, a lot of males especially, we suppressed our emotions in our alcoholism days, right? If we felt afraid, we would drink. If we felt hurt, we'd drink. For me, when I felt very angry, I'd have a drink. I really would. I would suppress it. So I didn't have that medication anymore to help me cope with myself and the world around me. I didn't have it. And so I couldn't really do much when it came to my emotions when I sobered up. If that makes any sense. I feel like I just kind of lost myself there a second. So what did I do? Well, I went to therapy. There's no doubt about it. And I went back, you know, something like a 4-step. I went back and did an inventory of my life and talked about my childhood and all that. But you know what I'm talking about. I went to counseling and I worked on my emotions. But you know, you really have to bring those problems in the forefront of your life and understand that shortcomings and character defects are really hard to get rid of. They really are, let alone under control. You're always going to have anger, and you're always going to have jealousy and hurt, or you know, all those 7 deadly sins. We all have them, and we're always going to have them, right? But if you're in sobriety and you're losing your crap over little things, that's a problem. That's a problem. You know, I went to a meeting excuse me, a couple of years ago, and the women in the group were starting to say, your feelings aren't real. Your feelings aren't real. And I'm like, my feelings aren't real. You know, sure they're real. And I started to say to myself, you know, my feelings aren't real. And they're kind of right. Our feelings aren't real in early recovery, or even long-term recovery if you haven't dealt with anything. And what they're referring to is this, right? Say you're married, say you got married, right? And the woman you're married to, or the man you're married to, was very abusive, caused you a lot of trauma, put fear into you, insecurity, all those sort of things. And it went on for a lot of years. Well, that's trauma, right? That's trauma. So what happens? You get married again to somebody, and that trauma is now not dealt with. So your new partner says to you, we're gonna have to go in debt, or $1,000 or whatever. And you start freaking out, or you start getting really afraid about your finances, but everything's good. But the event triggered your emotions. They had triggered that past haunt, or that past trauma. So your feelings are way over the top. They're unrealistic, to be honest with you, because it's not happening. It's only happening in your memory and in your sort of emotional memory. And that's what they're talking about when they say your emotions aren't really real. Well, they're real. I'm not taking that away from you, but are they realistic? That's what they should be saying, right? Are your emotions realistic? And to be honest with you, and for many years in recovery, my emotional health was not realistic. I'd walk off jobs. I ended up in jail, you know, because of anger. I caused a lot of problems because of my anger and my hurt and my resentments. And yes, the people I took it out on didn't deserve any of it. And yes, it wasn't really happening in that moment. I just felt threatened. I just felt hurt. I just felt like running because something was going to happen, because it was the past trauma. It was past. So what you need to do, if you're in a 12-step program or any program, you need to have a good sponsor, work your steps, whatever you want to do, whatever program you're in. But you probably need a good therapist too, and you need to get honest, brutally honest with that person. Don't hold back. Let them know what's going on. Let them know what's up, for they can help you and guide you through it. And you'll start to feel better, and you'll start to say to yourself, God, I didn't react to that. I didn't react to that situation because I dealt with it. And you're gonna pat yourself on the back and you're gonna say, you know, I'm getting a little traction on this. I do believe what Terry G is telling me. I do believe that I'm not that bad of a guy. I do believe that I'm not so crazy and my emotions aren't controlling me. There's a way out. There's a way out, but it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to deal with your demons inside you. It takes a lot, and a lot of people will not deal with it. They won't. So if you're thinking on dealing with it and you're going, kudos to you, congratulations. So what is it like now? How do I deal with things now on a daily basis when it comes to my emotions? Well, I have to admit, I've gotten pretty good at it. I really, really have. Most of my reactions nowadays are equal to the irritant or what's going on outside of me. Okay, and most times I don't even react because it's not worth it. I don't let the world control me anymore. But when it comes to my personal relationships, that's where I see the biggest growth in my emotions, the biggest growth. I don't take things so personally. I don't overreact. My responses are reasonable. I stand up for myself, respectful, love and tolerance towards others. Just because I have a problem with my emotions or had a problem with my emotions, it doesn't give me the right to go around and freak out on people. And I've always stood by that. So I've learned through therapy, through a 12-step program, all those sorts of things to respond accordingly. I've been able to keep a job for 20 years, not running off in anger or telling somebody to F off or whatever. I've been able to have a healthy relationship. And when I mean healthy relationship, I mean healthy relationship. We can talk on an intimate and mature level about what is going on in our lives and what hurts us and what makes us angry. Those sort of things, we can do that. We do not let things fester. There is so much to be said about emotional intelligence or getting a handle on your emotions, it's never really talked about in 12-step groups or in sobriety. People say, oh, listen to your emotions, get in touch with your emotions. But really, sometimes our emotions are pretty scary and we need to talk about them and get them under control for lesser words. Because like I said in the beginning of this video, if your emotions are controlling you, if you're reacting to the world around you, your sobriety, your life is going to be miserable. And at the end, you're going to find out that you're by yourself, because no one is going to want anything to do with you. You know why I know that? Because no one wanted anything to do with me. Enjoy your life, enjoy your sobriety, but work on it. Be prepared to go the distance, whatever it takes for you to feel comfortable in your own skin. Okay? My name is Terry G. This is an alcohol-free life channel where we learn to live sober one day at a time. You can take a second, please subscribe, take another second, and hit that like button. I really appreciate it, okay? I'll see you next week. God bless. And remember, there's no I in sobriety. Sobriety recovery is a team sport. It really is.